Good evening, everyone. I am Iris Jane Gelantes, and I am your first reporter for this evening's class. So my topic is ICT and assessment of learning. So assessment is a very important in student learning. There are many approaches to assessment and learning. So with the emphasis on the process of learning along with the product of learning, assessment is a crucial part in a student's learning and performance. So the second one is the ultimate measure of students' competence is performance. So the development in information and communication technology, or ICT, has thrown open numerous possibilities in assessing a student learnings and providing immediate feedback. So the role of ICT and in assessment in learning. So the first one is, with the use of ICT, the teachers can right away give feedback to students on the results of assessment. So the use of ICT in assessment is very helpful to teachers because students' information or results in the examinations that has been given can be recorded and stored and stored easily. The teachers can also retrieve them. There are new technologies created to provide students with higher level thinking skills. So ICT is an important part in assessment and learning. The second one is feedback from the computer during the use of test material improves students' performance in later use of the same test material. So we all know that when the student makahatag o once the teacher makahatag o kanang feedback sa student, the students kanang makabalo sila kung asa dapitas lang magkulang, asa ilang weaknesses, asa ilang strengths. So the students can assess themselves and helping when it comes to improving their learnings and how to assess their self. So the third one is in educational assessment, the use of technology as an innovation and support for teaching and learning by SINDU 2013 is essential to improve instruction and increase performance. So with an effective classroom assessment system, so in place, a valid demonstration of student learning and progress connected to classroom instruction and experience can be confirmed. So the fourth one is there are many freewares where the teacher can create quizzes and evaluate learning electronically. So test plays a vital role in traditional learning as well as e-learning, and this helps the teachers and the learners in measuring the learnings. So online examination system seeks to efficiently evaluate the test takers roughly through a fully automated system. So this online examination will also eliminate the need for monitoring while the exam is being taken. And the last part of the role of ICT in assessment and learning is there are some of the major advantages of online examinations. So the first one is accessibility and flexibility. Second is time management. Third, save cost. And the last one is statistical analysis. So these advantages are the major advantages when you are having an online examination. So it also gives high level transparency or as opposed as compared to traditional method or the remote method. So it is also impossible to compromise the exam. So most online exams generate their results instantly after the exam has been taken. So it is also often possible for the exam taker to get information on his results instantly. So right after the taker kanang makahuman og take og exam ang students, makakuha din sila sa ilahang results. So for example, one of the example is the Google form. So which is mostly kanang gigamit nato karon when we are taking an online exams. Current trends in assessment in learning. So the concept of classroom has been shifting in recent years. So purposely designed learning spaces and seamless integrations of technology. So we are currently in the 21st century and we are facing a global economy in which the information travels at the speed of light, and knowledge of how harness and sift through the information has become vital in our personal and national well-being. So as a future educator, as an educator, we must know that our students must be graduate ready to function in this world. So kinahanglan nga as a future educator, we must equip our students rightfully. So in the 21st century, educators and students can no longer afford to disconnect. So it is to help the students become college and career ready. So we need to teach them how to apply the
This is Ninya May Igot, and let's continue the Module 6, and we're on Lesson 2, entitled Criteria in Choosing Appropriate Assessment Tools. And the lesson outcomes, the first one is examine the appropriate assessment tools to be used in the classroom. The second, reviewed assessment used by the teachers and determine if it is applicable in the 21st century. And the third one, decided the type of measure to be utilized. Assessment methods are the strategies, techniques, tools, and instruments for collecting information to determine the extent to which students demonstrate desired learning outcomes. And the teachers need to select tools. Why? Because for them to assess the student achievement in the target outcomes. And the selection of the tools involves a process in which to obtain the detailed information and the need to keep the process feasible and manageable. Student learning styles vary widely, and their strengths and challenges with respect to assessment vary as well. Teachers need to consider that variation as they choose assessment for their courses. By varying the way teachers assess student understanding, they're more likely to offer opportunities for every student to demonstrate their knowledge. And the first step in attaining competency in selecting appropriate test involves understanding the purpose or purposes for which an assessment is given. And according to Merens, 2001, as cited in McDivitt and Gibson, in its broadest sense, the purpose of any assessment is to gather data to facilitate decision making. Or the following may be considered in choosing appropriate assessment tools. The first one is goals of assessment. Second is methods of assessment, either direct or indirect. And the third one, the interval in giving assessments. One of the challenges for beginning teacher is to select and use appropriate assessment techniques suited to a learner's needs. That is based on Eration 2005. And during teaching, teachers are not only have to communicate the information that they planned, but also continuously monitor the students learning and motivation to the students in order to determine whether modifications have to be made. Beginning teachers finds this more difficult than experienced teachers because of the complex cognitive skills required to improvise and be responsive to students' needs, while simultaneously keeping in mind the goals and plans of the lesson. That is according to Borko and Livingston 1989. And the formal assessment strategies teachers most often use during instruction are observation and questioning. So the teacher may either be utilizing direct or indirect method. Let's go with the direct method. Direct method are examinations, written assignments, oral presentations, and performances, internship supervisors' ratings of student skills, portfolios, score gains between entry and exit tests, capstone projects, thesis and dissertations, etc. The indirect method. Indirect methods can provide a useful supplement and check on the findings from direct measures. Here, I have some examples. The following are examples of this indirect method. Student satisfaction survey, surveys of students and alumni, exit interviews with graduating students, student participation rates, reflective essays, data on placement, and other measures of post-graduation performance, and etc. Characteristics in selecting appropriate assessment tools, whether conventional or ICT-based assessment. The first one is measure the desired level of performance. Number 2, cost-effective in terms of effort, time, and money. 3, useful that will produce results that provide information that can be used in making decisions to improve student learning. Number 4, reasonably accurate and truthful. Number 5, dependable, consistent responses over time. And number 6, evidence of being ongoing, not once and done. For example, level of satisfaction, productivity, efficiency, student performance. And after the discussion of a certain lesson, the teacher conducts formative assessment. Here, formative assessment is the frequent use of evidence gathered from various methods as feedback. Besides, serving as an indicator of attainment levels, students use this feedback to set their goals for the next stage of learning. With this, teachers may utilize ICT in assessment. It enables both teachers and students to provide valuable feedback on each learner's progress. The rapid development of ICT has provided teachers with digital platforms that support learning and teaching that is based to Wu et al. And Lee. They have the online task assigned by teachers will assess the collaborative problem solving and construct and use 5 strands. So it is the participation, the perspective taking, the social regulation, task regulation, and students' learning and knowledge building skills. This is according to Driegas and Karyotaki 2006. And it is also stressed in the same study that large-scale differential item functioning, or the DIF, is analysis that can validate an online problem solving ability test that minimizes the extraneous differential effects of students' language background. Thus, online assessment, here we can tackle the online assessment, can be incorporated by the teachers and the ICT providers the means for the explicit design and implementation of individualized or collaborative problem-solving tasks through teachers' interactive scaffolding and immediate feedback supplied towards learners. That is by Driegas and Karyotaki 2006. And then, the creating and utilizing rubric. A rubric is a set of criteria used to determine scoring for an assessment, performance, or product. This can be used to score many kinds of written assignments or exams, papers, projects, speeches, or e-portfolios. They are not useful, however, as a grading mechanism for multiple choice or short answer test. There are many samples of rubrics online, but the teacher may consider the learner's objective of the lesson, contextualization, and localization. The main purpose of the rubrics is to assess student performances. For some performances, the teacher may observe the student in the process of doing something like making their projects, online drill, tutorial, and many more. There are 2 types of rubric. The first one is the analytic rubrics. It describes work on each criterion separately. It utilizes separate holistic ratings of specific characteristics, products, or behavior. Number 2, holistic rubrics. The holistic rubrics describes the work by applying all the criteria at the same time and enabling an overall judgment about the quality of the work. And it utilizes the holistic rating for a product or behavior. And we tackle the technology can be used for assessing student learning in various purposes. And by using the technology in managing assessment information data, it can be presented in different ways to meet the needs of the students, the needs of the teachers, and the administrators. An electronic examination, which is also called the computer-based assessment or the CBA, and the computer-based testing or the CBT or e-exam. And then here, electronic exam or e-exam. Electronic exam or e-exam. Electronic exam is a test conducted using a personal computer or the PC or an equivalent electronics device in which the delivery, responses, and assessment are effected electronically. So that is the electronic examination. E-exams were developed more than 4 decades ago for professional certification in the IT industry and progressively evolving as a preferred alternative to paper pencil test or PPT in schools, universities, the recruiting firms, as well as private and public organizations. And that is according to Bulama Bukar, Bello, and Baba EB, 2016. The computer-based testing is more efficient than paper-based tests because it is an individualized testing and has faster score reporting within few minutes after last submission. The students can immediately view the scores on the screen and more convenient for teachers and also for the students. And the computerized delivery of objective tests has more advantages compared to paper-pencil tests, which include the following. The first one, the creation of item bank of questions invites the possibility of each student being presented with a paper made of different questions but of an equivalent standard. Number 2, automatic computerized marking facilities immediate feedback for the students. Number 3, students can be invited to sit tests as frequently as they find useful. And then the fourth one, computerized recording of results facilities the analysis of groups' responses to questions. So that is the computerized delivery of objective. So the teacher may consider balanced assessments like the blend of traditional and the ICT-based assessment. Although the computerized testing facilities can provide a rapid means of assessing and proving feedback to large numbers of the students. And it is essential to consider their use of as part of the overall unit strategy, specifically as multiple choice or limited response type questions can lead to an emphasis on shallow learning. So here, electronic assessment tools are likely to reduce significantly the burden of assessment, but they can be used to promote deeper and more effective learning by testing a range of skills, knowledge, and understanding. Okay. And then here, using the computers in assessment doesn't have to mean more multiple choice testing to the exclusion of other assessment techniques. A wide range of innovative assessment methods lend themselves to computer-based implementation. Here is the KT exchange. It is important to note that teachers should use variety of assessment methods in the classroom. Assessing students is how the teachers are able to evaluate students over the material they are learning in the classroom, and therefore, it has to be done fairly to accommodate each and every student's interest and needs. This is why it is important for teachers to use a variety of different assessments in their classroom. Paper and pencil test. Paper and pencil testing is the most common assessment procedure utilized by teacher to gather formal evidence about pupil learning. And paper and pencil instruments refer to a general group of assessments, tools in which students read questions and respond in writing. So, this includes the tests such as knowledge and ability test, the inventories, and such as personality and interest inventories. The process of achievement testing is a chain with many links, including identifying what to teach, providing good instruction to the students, selecting appropriate test question formats, and reviewing for the test. And some examples are multiple choice tests, true or false, matching types, analogy, and simple recall. An electronic portfolio, which is also known as an e-portfolio, digital portfolio, or online portfolio. So an e-portfolio is a collection of electronic evidence assembled and managed by a user, usually on the web. An e-portfolio includes input text, electronic files, images, multimedia, blog entries, and hyperlinks. And these are both demonstrations of the user's abilities and platforms for self-expression. There are types of e-portfolios. The first one is the ideal portfolio. Ideal portfolio is it contains all work of students. It is not given to provide student a grade. And then second, showcase or the professional e-portfolios. Here, it involves a collection of work over time, showing growth and improvement, reflecting the students' learning of identified outcomes. Here, these portfolios are often shared with other students to elicit peer feedback. And here, another one, documentation portfolio. It involves a collection of work over time showing growth and improvement and reflecting the students' learning of identified outcomes. Next is the learning e-portfolios. These portfolios are typically created by a student as part of learning activity as a way to demonstrate learning and the learning process. And the last one is the evaluation or assessment e-portfolios. The teachers may utilize this for both formative and summative assessments feedback. And these learning portfolios support the idea of formative feedback as an essential part of the learning process. So that is all my part. Thank you very much.
So I will be introducing the Module 7, which is Social, Ethical, and Legal Responsibilities and the Use of Technology Tools and Resources. So here, technology has become an integral part of our lives. So it has created a great impact that whether we like it or not, we have become prone to safety issues. Our privacy can be intruded, our relationship can be affected, but it is not just enough that we keep ourselves safe. We should also possess the skills on how we can act responsibly so as not to pose harm to others. So in my part, I will be discussing the lesson 1, digital citizenship versus global citizenship. So there is a lesson outcomes here. So first is recognize the 5 tenets of global digital citizenship and the nine elements of digital citizenship. So second, compare and contrast one's role as a citizen of a community and that of a digital world. And third, share ways on how one can observe social, ethical, and legal responsibilities in the use of technology, tools, and resources. So now, digital citizenship versus global citizenship. Since we are considered citizens of the community we live in, then as a user of the internet, we can also call ourselves as citizens of the digital world where we live in, learn, and work in an interconnected manner. Digital citizenship is an idea that all persons using the internet have civic rights and responsibilities. So, how do you describe a good citizen? How do you describe a good digital citizen? Is there much difference between the two? So, summing up, a global citizen sees the world as a community in which all people live and prosper together. He or she understands that his or her action contribute to the values of the entire planet, and he or she is connected on how he or she participates in the contributes and contributes to the entire world. While a digital citizen, on the other hand, adheres to guidelines that govern the ethical and responsible use of technology and act responsibly in all relationships and reactions in the digital world. So when we mix these two together, it's the perfect recipe for the global digital citizen. A global digital citizen is a responsible, ethical citizen leveraging technology to foster community in a global scale through connection and compassion. The global digital citizen understands that we can govern technology for the benefit of both ourselves and others. It is a citizen that views the world as an interconnected community. Additionally, the digital citizen realized that we simultaneously share technological and human experiences regardless of cultures, status, or political religious beliefs. So here, we will going to know the 5 tenets of global digital citizenship. So what is the five tenets of global digital citizenship? So we define the best assets of the digital citizen using 5 tenets. So first is the personal responsibility. Next is the global citizenship, and third, altruistic service, and fourth is the environmental stewardship, and lastly, digital citizenship. So this is the 5 tenets are the essence of what is means to be a great global digital citizen. So we're going to know first the first tenets. So first is the personal responsibility. So personal responsibility includes demonstrating how we manage ourselves in matters such as personal finance, ethical and moral boundaries, personal health and wellness, and relationship to every kind, both online or offline. For the students, this kind of responsibility means taking ownership of his or her learning, developing a sense of accountability for long life learning, and our students prepare them for the workplace. So these are places where they must often think and act indefinitely and take initiatives on their own. Encouraging this in the classroom as early as possible again help students develop high-level critical thinking and problem-solving abilities to assist them in every aspect of their life. So, next is the global citizenship. The global digital citizen understands that technology has dissolved boundaries between all the world's people. We now communicate, collaborate, and celebrate across all levels of society. We are now all global citizens. Our students must realize, among their things, that we aren't isolated from each other anymore, and a deep understanding of this new global interconnectedness can encourage them to be aware of issues, traditions, values, and cultures of other citizens. This leads to cultivating understanding, acceptance, compassion, and humility. Next is the digital citizenship. Digital citizenship covers appropriate and exemplary behavior in our online environments. It's about working towards making our transparent digital world safe for ourselves and others. Just like personal responsibilities, this involve moving accountability for appropriate behavior of our student. We teach them how to govern their behavior, act in just a moral way, and lead by good example in all online associations. In doing so, they foster independence within themselves and hopefully light the way for others to do the same. So next is the all altruistic service. Altruism is defined as having selfless concern for the well-being of others. The global digital citizens acknowledge that they are share this world with many different people. These ideals apply to the people we know, but also to those we don't know. This include embracing the opportunity to exercise charity and goodwill for the benefit of others. The practice of the altruistic service provides opportunities for our students to create meaningful connections to the real world. It gives them the chance to reach out to others and do things that can make a person's experiences better or easier in everyday life. This produces a sense of community and well-being for all. So lastly is the environmental stewardship. This practice is all about common sense, values, and an appreciation for beauty and majesty that surround us every day. This facet of global digital citizenship encouraging exploring how we can practice the conscientious use of earth resources. Environmental stewardship encourage every students. So we have a positive stand of personal, local, regional, national, and international actions regarding the preservation of what is essentially our environmental community. This facet of a global digital citizenship reinforce the idea that we have one world and that we all live on. It's vital that we respect it and take steps to ensure its beauty and long, longevity of for all future generation. And now we're going to discuss about the elements of this digital citizenship. So digital citizenship is now a component of digital citizenship as in fact one of the facets of global digital citizenship. So under digital citizenship there are 9 elements, which is digital access, digital commerce, digital communication, digital literacy, digital etiquette and digital law, digital rights and responsibilities, digital health and wellness, and lastly, digital securities. Now, we're going to know what is digital access. So digital access, equal digital rights and electronic access in the starting points of digital citizenship. Digital access is supposed to be available to all in the same manners. That education is made sure by the Philippine government to be available all the citizens. Currently, on this matter, the Republic Act 1092-9 was signed on July 25, 2016, requiring all public places in the country to have free internet access. So public places in the act covers national and local government offices, public basic education institutions, state universities and colleges, and the technology institution, public park and barangay reading centers, public airports and seaports, and public transport terminals. Despite this law, however, many are still deprived and of internet access, and therefore deprived of some resources. To become productive citizens, we need to provide and expand access to technology, and we need to be committed that no one is denied digital access. So next is the digital commerce. Technology users need to understand that a large share of market is being done electronical. Nowadays, people shop through different website, and even do online transactions for banking. Many other online transactions are occurring, including the illegal downloading, uh, pornography, and other that's safe and security online shopping, and other commercial transactions that have to be done. This with this and e-commerce act, or RA 8972, was signed in July 2000. This act aims to facilitate domestic and international dealings, transactions, agreements, uh, constructs, and contracts, and in exchanges and storage of information through the utilization of electronic, optical, and similar medium, mode, and instrumentality, and technology to recognize the authenticity. So next is the digital health and wellness. So next is the digital communication. So it is another element of digital citizenship that we seem to be embracing wholeheartedly. Digital communication is the electronic exchange of communication, which includes emailing, texting, instant messaging, and utilizing cell phones, etc. As digital communication continues to grow, it is important that we do not forget how to communicate face to face. We have to utilize digital channels of communication to enhance our ability to communicate, but do not allow it to replace our ability to communicate. And next is digital literacy. As digital citizens, it is our responsibility to develop and continually enhance our technological knowledge. We should support and encourage and acquisition of technological knowledge by others. We should model the positive and proactive use of technology for good causes, personal and professional growth and education. So next is digital etiquette. So this refers to the electronic standards of conduct or procedure. This is often seen as one of the most pressing problems with dealing with digital citizenship. Imagine a teenager who spread hate speech about a classmate online, or one who browses Facebook while attending mass. Browsing social media sites have become so addictive that young people tend to lose distinction between what is appropriate and what is not. It begins with rules. It is not enough, however, to create rules and policies. Everyone must be taught to become responsible digital citizens. So next is digital law. Digital law refers to the electronic responsibility for actions and deeds. The digital world is so huge that there should be order, discipline, and ethical use. Plagiarism, copyright, infringement, backing of information, identifying theft are crimes that are commonly violated by online users. As digital citizens, we must be aware of these illegal behaviors, so that we can avoid them and report those who illegally engage in them. So next is the digital rights and responsibilities. For every right, there is a corresponding duty, and for every privilege, there is a corresponding responsibility. The privileges of digital access come along with responsibility. Just as the Philippine Constitution protects us with right of being Filipino citizens, such as the right to privacy, we also have responsibility to be cautious cautious in our online activities, such as posting our photos and videos online. So next is digital health and wellness. Our physical and psychological well-being in a digital technology world should be a priority. Many illnesses have become associated with technology use, such as carpal tunnel syndrome, eye strain, and childhood obesity, all as an effect of children's prolonged sitting in front of a computer screen. Technology has also posed and um, inherent danger of addiction and threat from online predators. Thus, children and adults alike must learn how to protect themselves and as digital citizens through education and training. So next is the digital security. How to keep oneself security in any community is a major concern. If we keep our home safe with gates and locks, we also need to protect the information that we provide online with privacy setting and strong passwords. We also need to have virus protections of and backups of our data. As responsible digital citizens, we must know how to keep our data, our money, and our identity from all hazards in the digital world. Digital citizenship is very similar to our citizenship in our immediate community. We are social, ethical, and illegal issues involved in our day-to-day dealing with people of the surroundings. It is not just about recognizing and dealing with online hazards. It is about building safe places and communities, understanding how to manage personal information, and about being savvy using our online precise to grow and shape the world in a safe, creative way, inspiring to do the same. As a global digital citizen, we need to be conscientious and compassionate. We should strive to establish a sense of global community in all our online and offline relationships, duties, and endeavors. And that's all. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. This is Hershey G. Ladra, and tonight I will be discussing Lesson 2 Netizenship and Netiquette in Online Communities. It is the moral values that an internet user must possess in order for us to have a healthy and safe environment to live. Firstly, we have netizenship. A user of the internet, especially a habitual or avid one, we look at how the new generation of commercial web browsers can help netizens serve the world. It is us, the user of social media, the people, the one must possess or apply the right moral values or the etiquette. Secondly, we have the netiquette. Is network etiquette the do's and don'ts of online communication, road of cyberspace. So we have a lot of standard guidelines to follow in different status or stand in our life, as well as in using the social media and be engaged in the modernization of the 20th century. We must follow the right netiquette in utilizing the social media and be a part to the online world and be part to the growing environment we lived in. And then, Philippines being considered as the social media capital of the world has a need to stress social media education and etiquette among online users. All agreed for the inclusion of social media etiquette in the education curriculum, either as a separate subject or integrated in good manners and right conduct. Social media can attain many things in terms of social good. And then we have the scrutinizing. A netizen, according to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, 26 April 2018, is an active participant in the online community of the internet. So, the medical dictionary refers to it as an internet netizen who uses networked resources, which connotes civic responsibility and participation. Thus, netizenship means citizenship in the internet or in a virtual world. As a responsible netizens, we are all expected to support a healthy interaction on the internet. Netiquette, or the rules of socially accepted behavior online, have to be observed in writing, and email, in texting, and other communication on the web. Next, here are some netiquette guidelines. First, protect your reputation. Whether in real or in virtual world, you are the same person. Okay, so as a responsible user, do only what is appropriate and share information that does not harm you as a person and as well as does not harm to other people. Second, we have respect others. Respect begets respect. Treat everyone with respect even if you have not seen him or her in person. You must be judicious about what you say on your own and to the other pages. Next, third, express yourself clearly and use emoticons. Communication online is difficult because emotions are not evident during communication. Thus, emoticons are readily available to show your emotions. Miscommunication usually takes place because your facial expression and your body language cannot be seen and the tone of your voice cannot be heard. That's why emoticons are readily available to show your emotions. And then, fourth, remember the intellectual property. Ideas online are products of intelligence of others. If you need to cite them, acknowledge the authors. You definitely do not want to steal properties of others. Example, plagiarism. Do not steal because you don't know the hardship of the owner of that file or that post. Fifth, check spelling, grammar, and punctuation. Good writing means good manners. We do not want to waste other people's time reading our post, which is incomprehensible. Since your face cannot be seen online, you will be judged according to your post. If you are a professional, then you must post only those appropriate posts for professionals. Next, we have sixth, pause before you post. Take note that whatever you post becomes permanent. Therefore, think twice or thrice before you click send. Similar to the quote, think before you click. Maybe you can delete, but you can't delete anything that is already in the mind of one's person, the one that is watching your post online. Seventh, do not share your personal information. Sharing your personal information online is like going around the streets wearing a shirt printed with your name, birthday, address, name of parents, etc. You definitely do not want to reveal all this to many people. Besides, providing all this publicly will make you prone to identity thief. So we must be careful enough and wise enough. Last but not the least, think about who or what you are representing. As a son or daughter, you represent your family. As a student, you represent your school. You do not want your family or school to be put to shame by what you do. As a student, you represent your school. That's why, whatever you post or comment, you must think outside the box because it might affect where you came from, because it reflects you. Your school will be involved. Each of us has a significant contribution to the kind of community we have in the virtual world. As the Association of American Medical Colleges 2015 in www.cyberbullying.org says it, we are responsible for the public face that the connected world sees. Consequently, our individual digital reputation is shaped by our post on social media. These three I have input here are serve as your guide where you can learn more etiquette guidelines that can improve your knowledge. First, on the web, go to brainpop.com and explore a lot of activities on digital etiquette there. Next, on your own, practices like flaming and trolling can transform a friendly message board into a verbal battleground. Next, we have with your peer. Discuss your own internet guidelines with your peer. Put together your individual work and create a peer internet etiquette. Alright, so let me leave you this note. Your manners matter. Be wise yet intelligent. Spread awareness for social good and for the betterment to all humankind. Thank you so much for listening.
So let's move on to Lesson 3, the intellectual property rights and the development and use of digital materials. Intellectual property protection is important in fostering innovation. Without protection of ideas, individual will not be able to enjoy the full benefit of their creation and will not be compensated for it. So intellectual property protection encourages innovation without the fear of someone or a competitor will steal the idea and take credit from it. Intellectual property right. Intellectual property, according to World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO, refers to the creation of minds such as invention, literary and artistic works, designs and symbols, names and images used in commerce. An intellectual property is a right held by a person or a company to have exclusive rights over these. So, internationally, these intellectual properties are protected by the World Intellectual Property Organization, to which is Philippines is one of the 191 member states. So in our country, we have the Intellectual Property Office of the Philippines, IPO-PHIL, which administers and implements the state policies in relation to intellectual property. So this office was created to Republic Act 8293. So this act defines intellectual property to include copyright and related creations, geographic indications, service marks, and many more. Copyright is a legal concept that grants the creator of an original work certain exclusive rights. So these rights are automatically granted to the creator upon the creation of the work and provide them with control over how the work is used and distributed. So the works that can be protected by copyright are the original works, which includes the following: books, pamphlets, articles, and other writings, periodicals, and newspapers, lectures, sermons, addresses, dissertations prepared for oral delivery, whether or not reduced in writing or other material forms, letter, dramatic or musical compositions, choreographic works and entertainment and dub shows, musical compositions with or without works, works of drawing, painting, architecture, sculpture, engraving, lithography, or other works of arts, models or designs of works of arts. Original ornamental designs or models for article of manufacture, whether or not registrable as an industrial design, and other works of applied arts. Illustrations, map, plans, sketches, and three-dimensional works related to geography, topography, architecture, or science. Drawings or plastic works of a scientific or technical character. Photographic works, including works produced by a process analogous to photography, lantern slides. Audiovisual works and cinematographic works, and works produced by a process analogous to cinematography or any process of making audiovisual recordings, pictorial illustrations and advertisements, computer programs, and other literary, scholarly, scientific, and artistic works. The internet is a very rich source of information, and we should be careful in using them. Now that copy and paste are very accessible commands in our computer, we should be careful not to violate the copyright laws, otherwise we should be accused of copyright infringement. So copyright infringement refers to the use without the permission. So, to avoid this, we should use proper citation when using this in our output. So here are the guidelines on online use of copyright materials by Smaldino, Luther, and Russell, 2012. First, we have, contrary to popular opinion, all materials on the internet is copyrighted unless stated otherwise. It is copyrighted even if it does not display the copyright symbol. Second, an email is an original work fixed in a tangible medium of expression that is covered by a copyright. Hence, it is recommended that you should not forward any email without permission in consideration for both Copyright and Privacy Act. Third, downloading an article from a newspaper website, making copies, and distributing them to your students prior to a class discussion on the topic is permissible, following the current photocopying guidelines, which permits making multiple copies for classroom use. The exception should be individually by-line copyrighted articles or articles from a source specifically designed for the educational market, where such article cannot be copied legally for class distribution, adopted from Becker of 2003. Fourth, you cannot post students' essays, poems, or other works on the school website unless you have permission of the students and their parents or guardians. And fifth, educators should treat copyrighted materials from the internet the same way they do to print formats. The best guideline is to always obtain permission. When in doubt, ask. Copyright infringement versus plagiarism. Another violation on intellectual property is plagiarism. Although plagiarism and copyright infringement are related ideas, these two are different. Plagiarism, according to plagiarism.org, is an act of fraud. It involves both stealing someone else's work and lying about it afterward. Plagiarism.org further elaborates the following as plagiarism. So, turning in someone else's work as your own, copying words or ideas from someone else without giving credit, failing to put a quotation and quotation marks, giving incorrect information about the source of a quotation, changing words but copying the sentence structure of a source without copying so many words or ideas from a source that it makes up the majority of your work whether you give credit or not. So for images, videos, and music, the following are counted as plagiarism. So copying media, especially images from other websites to paste them into your own papers or website, making video, using footage from others' video, or using copyrighted music as part of the soundtrack, performing another person's copyright music, playing a cover, so composing a piece of music that borrows heavily from another composition. In other words, plagiarism refers to copying the work of another and claiming it as one's ideas or without proper attribution, while copyright infringement is copying one's work without obtaining permission. In this sense, copyright infringement is a violation of the right of the copyright holder, while plagiarism is a violation of the right of the author. We have to note that not all authors are copyright holders. There are cases when the publisher owns the copyright. In addition, copyright infringement is a legal violation, while plagiarism is an ethical violation. To put it simply, plagiarism is ethical and academic violation of presenting someone else's work as your own, while copyright infringement is a legal violation of using copyrighted material without authorization. So that is all for Lesson 3 and the end for Module 7. I hope you learned something and thank you for listening. Goodbye.